God woke me up in the middle of the night with a very specific warning for you. This is not for everyone, it's for you. There is one person in your family blocking your blessing. You've been feeling it for a long time. You walk into your own house and the air feels heavy. You clean, you organize, you try to keep peace, but something in the atmosphere refuses to calm down. You feel it in your chest. You feel it in your stomach. Your spirit knows something is wrong here, and it's not just me. When certain people come over, your joy shrinks. Your voice gets smaller. You start watching what you say, what you share, even how much you smile. You notice it most at the table, the place that should feel safe, the place where you serve food, where you pour your love out onto plates. But God showed me a table, your table, and at that table, He showed me a Judas, a person who sits there, eats your food, listens to your stories, nods and smiles, but inside, they are blocking your prosperity. They don't clap when good things happen to you. They get quieter when you talk about the little blessings in your life. They ask questions that make you feel small. Are you sure you can afford that? Who gave you that? How are you paying for all this? On the outside, it sounds like concern, but your spirit hears something else. Envy, control, resentment. You have tried to ignore it. You've told yourself, I'm exaggerating. I'm too sensitive. Maybe it's just my imagination. But it is not your imagination. It is not just your emotions. It is an atmosphere. And God is exposing it today. Your house is not just walls and furniture. It is a spiritual environment. Some people carry peace into your home. Others carry blockages. And this is the warning God gave me for you. As long as this person keeps a seat at your table, certain blessings will stay stuck. Money will move slowly. Doors will open and then suddenly close. Opportunities will appear and then disappear. There is one person in your family whose presence is slowing down your financial breakthrough, whose words are poisoning your confidence, whose energy is lowering the frequency of your home. In the next minutes, I'm going to show you 3 clear signs that will reveal exactly who this person is. And when God exposes them and you allow Him to remove their influence from your atmosphere, you will see something shift in your peace, in your sleep, and even in your bank account. Stay with me, because this is not about hating your family. This is about protecting your blessing. You've noticed it for a long time. You just haven't had the words for it. There are days when your house feels normal, almost light. You move around, you clean, you cook, you talk to God in your heart, and you feel okay. But then they show up, or they call, or they send a message, and suddenly the whole atmosphere shifts. Your shoulders get tense. Your mind starts racing. Your chest feels tight for no logical reason. That is not just stress. That is your spirit reacting to a presence that doesn't carry peace. You've tried to be kind. You've tried to tell yourself, they're family. I shouldn't think this way. So you keep opening your door. You keep setting the table. You keep listening to their words. But pay attention to what happens inside you when they are near. When they walk into your house, you start doubting yourself more. You look at your clothes and suddenly feel not enough. You look at your furniture and feel ashamed. You look at your fridge and think, is it too little? Are they judging me? They don't even have to say anything direct. It's the energy they bring. The way they scan your house with their eyes, the way they judge without speaking. Think about this. There are people who, when they enter your home, bring warmth. The room feels brighter. Even if they don't have much money, they carry a gentle, peaceful frequency. You feel safe. You feel understood. But then there is this one person. When they enter, you feel you must perform. You become extra careful with every word. You measure how much you share. You hide parts of your life because you know they will turn your joy into gossip or criticism. You sit at your own table, but you don't relax. You serve them food, but you don't feel honored. You feel inspected. Watch their questions. They don't ask, "How are you really? How is your heart? What do you need?" They ask, "How much are you paying for that? Who helps you with money? Why did you buy that? Where did you get the money for this?" On the surface, it sounds like concern. But deep inside, you feel a sting. Your spirit knows they are not happy for me. They are checking on me. You've noticed another pattern. When you talk about a problem, they have energy. They lean in. They give advice. They like being the strong one, the smart one. But when you talk about a small victory, a new opportunity, a door that might open, their face changes. The conversation gets colder. They change the subject. They warn you. They scare you. They plant fear. Be careful, that sounds too risky. I don't think that's for someone your age. Don't get your hopes up. The world is bad. You came in with a little spark of hope. You leave the conversation feeling heavy, afraid, and small. That is not love. That is spiritual sabotage disguised as realism. Notice what happens after they leave. The silence in your house feels different. You walk around and feel almost dirty inside. Your mind replays their words on a loop. Your heart starts doubting every decision. You lie down to sleep, and suddenly the worries about money, about bills, about your future become louder than usual. This is how you know it's not just personality, it's atmosphere, it's vibration. Their presence lowers the spiritual frequency of your home. Maybe you felt crazy. Maybe you thought, "I should be grateful. They come to see me. I'm overreacting. It's my trauma. I'm supposed to love my family no matter what." Listen carefully. Loving your family does not mean allowing someone to sit at your table while slowly poisoning your peace. You are not imagining the shift. You are not inventing the tension. Your spirit is not lying to you. God gave you discernment not to make you paranoid, but to show you when a person's heart no longer matches their smile. And I want you to notice something important. This is not about everyone in your family. This is not a call to hate your blood, to cut off every person, or to live isolated in anger. God is not attacking your entire family. He is putting a spotlight on one person who has become a blockage in your atmosphere. There are relatives who love you and simply don't know how to express it. They are clumsy, but their heart is clean. We are not talking about them. We are talking about the one whose presence always leaves you smaller, poorer in spirit, more afraid of the future. The one whose words don't lift you, they drain you. The one whose advice does not bring peace, it brings anxiety. Deep down, you already know this person exists. You've seen the pattern repeat. Before they visit, your body gets tense. When they're inside your house, your stomach is tight. After they leave, your mind spirals. That is your spirit trying to protect you. That is God whispering, "This frequency is not safe for your blessing." In a moment, I'm going to give you 3 clear signs that will confirm exactly who this person is for you. Not based on guesswork, not based on hatred, but based on what happens in your atmosphere when they come close to your life, your joy, and your money. Now, I want you to really listen, because what I'm about to share is going to confirm what your spirit already knows. There are many difficult people in a family, but there is one who is not just difficult, they are a blockage. Let me give you 3 clear signs that this is the person God is exposing. Sign number 1, their presence lowers your frequency. Sign number 1 is simple. When this person enters your life, your peace leaves the room. Think about it. There are people who can visit you tired, stressed, even complaining, but you still feel safe with them. You still feel loved after they leave. This person is different. Before they arrive, your body already reacts. You feel tightness in your chest. You feel a pressure on your shoulders. You start moving faster, cleaning more, checking everything twice. Not because you want to honor them, but because you are afraid of their judgment. Pay attention to what happens in the atmosphere. The room gets quieter, but not in a peaceful way. It gets tense. Your words become shorter. You say less than you really want to say. You avoid certain topics because you know they will turn them into criticism or gossip. You don't feel at home in your own house while they are sitting there. And here's the part almost no one talks about. Have you noticed that arguments and misunderstandings often explode only when this person is around? Maybe you and another family member get along fine, but as soon as this one person is present, small comments turn into big fights. Suddenly, people are offended. Old wounds are reopened. The whole atmosphere gets polluted. That is not a coincidence. That is a spiritual frequency issue. God showed me this picture. Your home has a spiritual temperature. When this person walks in, the temperature drops. Not physically, emotionally, spiritually. You stop feeling safe. You stop feeling seen. You stop feeling like you can breathe. That is sign number 1. Their presence shrinks your soul. You feel smaller, heavier, and more anxious whenever they are near. If you can already see one face in your mind, pay attention. Your spirit is trying to tell you something. Sign number 2, they speak against your blessings. Sign number 2, they pretend to care, but they secretly speak against your blessings. Listen carefully to how they respond when something good happens to you. When you share a problem, they have energy. They talk, advise, even enjoy being the strong one. But when you share a blessing, a new opportunity, a dream that is starting to move, their whole tone shifts. You tell them, I might start something new. I got a small promotion. I feel God is opening a door. And what do they answer? Be careful. That sounds dangerous. At your age? I don't know. People like us don't get those things. Don't get excited. The world is very bad. They dress it up as wisdom. They call it being realistic. But after talking to them, your faith is smaller, not stronger. Your hope is weaker. Your joy is colder. That is not spiritual covering. That is spiritual sabotage. Watch how they react to your small joys. You buy something simple for yourself, and they roll their eyes. You enjoy a little blessing, and they say, well, we'll see how long that lasts. You talk about feeling closer to God, and they change the subject. They minimize, they mock, or they bring up their own problems to steal the attention away from your blessing. And here is the key. They rarely attack directly. They prefer doubt, not attack. They sow questions, not encouragement. Because if they openly attacked you, you would recognize it immediately. So they pretend to be worried, but under that concern, there is jealousy, resentment, fear of losing control. Sign number 2 is this. Every time you share a blessing or a dream, this person makes you feel foolish for believing or guilty for receiving. After talking to them, you feel smaller, not bigger, more confused, not more clear, more afraid, not more protected. That is not what a safe family member does. That is what a Judas spirit does. Smile in your face, sit at your table, and quietly stab your faith under the surface. Sign number 3, they control your money with guilt. Sign number 3 is very specific. They want information and influence over your money, and they use guilt to get it. Pay attention to their questions. They are more interested in your bank account than in your heart. They ask, how much do you get every month? Who helps you with your bills? How can you afford that? Did you already pay this and that? They don't ask to help. They ask to measure. And when you say no to something, what do? They make you feel like a bad person. After all I've done for you. So you can buy that for yourself, but not help with this? Wow, must be nice to have extra money. Little comments designed to make you feel selfish for simply trying to breathe. They never celebrate when you keep money for yourself. They never clap when you say, I finally saved a little. Instead, they push you to spend it in ways that benefit them, or they shame you for not giving it away according to their agenda. Deep down, they don't just want to know about your finances. They want to sit on top of them. They want you to feel that you owe them explanation, permission, justification. Listen carefully. Loving family does not demand access to every detail of your money. Healthy love says, I'm happy you can breathe. I'm glad you have a little extra. I'm proud that you are trying. An unhealthy spirit says, you shouldn't have that. You should give more, especially to me. You don't deserve to rest. You should be doing more. They use your kindness against you. They use your heart as a weapon. Sign number 3 is this. This person makes you feel guilty for any financial blessing that doesn't include them. They act like your personal accountant, but they were never appointed by God. When you think of using money to rest, to fix something in your house, to bless yourself a little, their voice appears in your mind, telling you you shouldn't. That is not God's conviction. That is their control echoing in your soul. So now, put it together. One person whose presence lowers your peace. One person who secretly speaks against your blessings. One person who tries to control your money with guilt. If the same face appears in your mind with all 3 signs, God is not accusing you. He's revealing something. He's showing you the Judas at your table, not so you become bitter, but so you can become free. In a moment, I'm going to show you what God does when a family Judas is exposed, and why your finances and your sleep often begin to change when that person loses their influence over your atmosphere. Right now, as you listen, there's probably one face that keeps coming back to your mind. And with that face, another feeling is appearing too: guilt. You're thinking, but they're family. Maybe I'm being unfair. A good Christian doesn't think like this. You have spent years turning that guilt against yourself. You said, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm too sensitive. Maybe it's my trauma. Listen to me very carefully. You are not crazy. You are not inventing this. And you are not the problem. What you are feeling is called discernment. God gave you a sensitive spirit to protect you, not to torment you. You feel the heaviness. You notice the tension. You see the pattern because heaven is trying to get your attention. Your tears are not a sign of weakness. They are a sign that your heart has been carrying too much for too long. This is not about blaming you. This is about explaining why your life has felt stuck in certain areas. When the atmosphere of a house is full of envy, control, and hidden resentment, some blessings cannot land. It's not that God doesn't want to bless you. It's that He loves you too much to pour money and opportunities into an environment that will swallow them. Imagine this. You finally receive extra money. But the moment it arrives, this person appears with a new demand, a new emergency, a new way to make you feel guilty if that money is not used according to their wishes. Soon, you are back to zero, back to fear, back to feeling behind. Does that sound familiar? So hear this truth. It's not that you are cursed. It's that your atmosphere has been crowded with the wrong energy. You can pray, you can declare, you can listen to messages like this. But if you ignore what God is showing you about this one person, you will stay in a cycle of small breakthroughs and big setbacks. Not because God is punishing you, but because you are still giving a front row seat in your life to someone who does not carry peace. Now, I want to shift your perspective. What if the recent distance is not rejection, but protection? Think about the last months or the last year. Calls that started to come less often. Invitations that stopped. Doors that quietly closed. Situations that separated you from certain relatives or friends. You cried and said, "Why is everyone leaving me? Why am I so alone?" But what if, instead of everyone leaving you, God has been filtering your circle? What if He has been slowly removing the noise, the manipulations, the fake smiles, so that your atmosphere could breathe again? You call it loneliness. He calls it VIP protection. You say, "No one wants to sit at my table." God says, "I had to clean your table before I could serve the next level of blessing." You say, "Everyone has walked away from me." God says, "I pulled the wrong people away so the right blessings can finally come close." There is a shift of season happening in your life. You are not in the season of pleasing everyone anymore. You are not in the season of explaining yourself to people who already decided not to understand you. You are in a season of atmosphere adjustment. God is adjusting the frequency of your house, your mind, your relationships. And when the frequency changes, some people simply cannot stay. Not because you hate them, not because you wish them harm, but because your new level of peace is incompatible with their old patterns of control. I want you to see another detail. Many times, before a financial breakthrough, God exposes a person. Before more provision, He reveals who wastes your energy. Before more opportunities, He reveals who secretly laughs at your dreams. Before more money, He reveals who tries to sit on top of your decisions. Why? Because if these people stay in the same position, they will drain what God gives, or they will try to claim it as theirs. So when relationships get shaky, when hidden attitudes start to come out, when you see the Judas more clearly than ever, it is often a sign that a new blessing is close. I'm not telling you to create drama, to shout, or to fight. You don't need a war. You need clarity. Clarity about who truly brings peace and who constantly disturbs it. Clarity about who celebrates your little victories and who always finds a way to turn them into something negative. Clarity about who respects your decisions and who wants to control them. From this moment on, I want you to stop saying, "I'm cursed, I'm unlucky, nothing good ever lasts for me." Start seeing it from a higher angle. God is protecting me from wrong atmospheres. God is adjusting my circle. If certain people are leaving, it is because certain blessings are coming. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. So instead of begging everyone to stay, start thanking God for the people He quietly removed. Instead of chasing tables where you are only tolerated, start preparing your own table for the peace, clarity, and provision He is sending your way. In a moment, I'm going to show you what happens when this family Judas finally loses access to your atmosphere, and how God often confirms this through small but undeniable changes in your sleep, in your peace, and even in the way money begins to move around your life. Now that the light is on, the question you had is simple. What happens now? What does God do when a family Judas is exposed? Because you don't just want information, you want to know what God will move in your real life. When God exposes a person, He is not asking you to start a war. He's inviting you into a shift in your atmosphere, a shift in your decisions, a shift in how blessings move around you. And this is what tends to happen when that hidden blockage finally comes to the surface. First, there is exposure. For some, the exposure will be a conversation. There will be a moment when this person speaks with no filter, no mask, no sugar. They will say something about your money, your future, your faith that hits you like a sharp knife in your chest. They might say, "People like you never get ahead. At your age, you should just be grateful for whatever. You're not smart enough to handle money. You think God cares about your bills?" And you will feel it, deep, clear, undeniable. Not because it's new, but because this time your eyes are open. In that moment, you will not just hear words. You will hear confirmation. This is the one. This is the mouth that has been speaking against your blessing. For others, the exposure will not be loud. It will be distance. Plans will suddenly fall through. Calls will stop. People will forget to invite you, or they will quietly step back. You will feel the temptation to chase them, to apologize, to beg to stay connected. But inside, there will be a strange peace. A voice whispering, "Let this go." You are not losing support, you are losing sabotage. What looks like rejection on the surface is often protection underneath. Then, after exposure, comes the separation of influence. This doesn't always mean you never see them again. Sometimes it simply means you stop explaining your decisions to them. You stop asking for their permission. You stop sharing every detail of your dreams and finances. You gently close the door they were using to inject fear into your choices. You still pray for them. You still wish them well. But you no longer give them a controlling seat in your inner life. You choose peace over guilt. You choose clarity over confusion. You choose a healthy frequency over a familiar poison. And when that influence begins to break, something subtle starts to change in 3 key areas. 1. Your sleep. Where you used to lie awake at night, replaying their words, feeling the weight of their judgment, something lifts. Your mind becomes quieter. Your pillow stops feeling like a courtroom and starts feeling like a place of rest. The same bed, the same room, but a different atmosphere. It's not magic. It's what happens when a spiritual weight stops sitting on your chest. 2. Your peace. You start noticing that your body is less tense in your own house. You walk through your rooms and instead of feeling watched and judged by their invisible opinions, you feel space. Space to breathe, space to think, space to talk to God without hearing their voice on top of His. Small decisions don't feel so scary. Your heart doesn't jump every time the phone rings. You don't live with the constant fear of what they will think if you make a choice for yourself. You are not cursed. You are detoxing from a toxic atmosphere. 3. The way money moves. And yes, even your finances often begin to shift. I'm not promising you that $1 million will fall from the sky tomorrow. God is not a slot machine. But pay attention to the small but exact changes. After that influence breaks, you may notice a delayed payment finally arrives. An unexpected discount appears on something you needed to pay. A small debt is forgiven or postponed in your favor. A simple opportunity to earn a bit more shows up out of nowhere. Nothing huge at first, but enough to make you stop and say, "Wait, this wasn't happening before." It's like a pipe that had been blocked by stones of envy and control. Once that blockage is removed, the water doesn't explode out. It starts to flow. Little by little, but clearly. You will also notice a change in your decisions about money. Because when you are no longer driven by guilt, you start acting from wisdom. You don't give out of fear. You don't spend to impress. You don't borrow to look generous. You begin to do something radical. You keep what you need without apologizing for it. You pay what is yours. You save what is possible. You bless others as you feel led by God, not pushed by emotional blackmail. And when money is no longer escaping through the hole of manipulation, you suddenly realize you are not as cursed as you thought. You were just surrounded by the wrong frequency. Now listen to this carefully. When God reviews a family Judas, He's not giving you permission to hate, curse, or seek revenge. He is giving you permission to protect your atmosphere. To say, "I can love you," without giving you the power to choke my peace and block my blessing. He is giving you permission to choose distance when closeness only produces destruction. He is giving you permission to treat your table, your heart, your house, your finances as something sacred, not public property. So this is what is going to start happening for those who say yes to this word. God will highlight the face that matches the signs you heard. He will orchestrate moments of exposure where their true attitude becomes visible. He will open a way for their influence over your decisions to decrease. And as you stop feeding that connection with your explanations, your secrets, and your guilt, you will notice more rest, more clarity, more stability. The battles will not disappear, but you will stop fighting with a knife in your back. There is one declaration that is going to be very important when God reveals this Judas in your house. A declaration that breaks their spiritual access to your peace and provision without you needing to scream, argue, or explain yourself. In a moment, I'm going to lead you through that declaration, word by word, so that heaven and hell both know that your table, your atmosphere, and your blessings are no longer available for hidden enemies to sit on. That declaration I told you about, the one that breaks access without you needing to fight or explain, that moment is now. I don't know where you're listening from, your bedroom, your kitchen, your living room. Maybe you're washing dishes. Maybe you're lying on your bed with tears in your eyes. Wherever you are, I want you to pause for a second, just one moment between you and God. If you can, place one hand over your chest and the other gently on your table or on the place where you usually sit to eat. If you don't have a table near you, just imagine it. God knows exactly where your heart sits, where your worries sit, where your bills sit. Take a slow breath in and let it out. We're going to speak together now. Not just words in the air, but a spiritual decision. Repeat after me, out loud if you can, whispering if you have to. God, I give you permission to remove every Judas from my table. I break every emotional tie that is blocking my blessing. My house is not a prison of envy. My atmosphere is protected. My finances are protected. My future is protected. If someone's presence lowers my peace, you have the right to move them out of the center of my life. I choose peace over guilt. I choose clarity over confusion. I choose your voice over every controlling voice. From this day on, my table is sacred. In Jesus' name, amen. Take another deep breath. Feel your chest. Feel your hand on that table or that invisible table in your mind. Nothing around you may have changed yet, but something inside you has shifted. You just told heaven, you just told hell, and you just told your own soul, my table is no longer available for hidden enemies to sit on. This doesn't mean you stop loving people. This doesn't mean you become hard, bitter, or cold. It means you now understand that your peace, your sleep, your mind are not cheap. Your atmosphere is not a public park. It is a sanctuary. Now I want you to do something simple but powerful. If this word is for you, if while you were listening, you saw faces, heard phrases, felt memories rise up, I want you to write in the comments as an act of agreement, my table is protected. Those 3 words. Not for me, not for the algorithm, for you. Every time you see your own comment, you will remember this moment. You will remember this decision. You will remember that you are not crazy. You are not cursed. You are not abandoned. You are being protected. And as you write it, I want you to picture your table, in your kitchen, your dining room, or that little corner where you eat alone, surrounded not by envy, but by peace. Not by manipulation, but by the presence of God. See your chair, the one where you sit with your bills, with your coffee, with your thoughts at night, and declare in your heart, this is no longer a place of fear. This is a place of guidance. This is no longer a place of shame. This is a place of wisdom. This is no longer a place of control. This is a place of freedom. Let me pray over you now. You don't have to repeat this part, just receive it. God, I pray for the person listening right now. You see every dinner they cried through, every conversation that stole their peace, every word that made them feel small. I ask you to cleanse the atmosphere of their house. Walk through every room, touch every chair, every doorway, every table. Remove the weight of invisible judgment. Replace it with your peace. Give them courage to say no where they need to say no. Give them wisdom about what to share and what to keep in silence. Give them discernment to recognize who truly loves them and who is only using them. And as you expose and remove every hidden blockage, let their sleep become deeper, their mind become clearer, and their finances begin to breathe again. Let their house become a place where your presence is felt, where anxiety cannot stay, and where their blessing can finally flow without being stolen. In Jesus' name, amen. You are not alone in this. You are not crazy for feeling what you feel. You are not wrong for needing distance from what is destroying your peace. God is not just watching your enemies, He is watching over your table. If this spoke to you, write it now. My table is protected. And every time you sit down to eat, every time you see your own words, remember, you have permission to protect your atmosphere, to guard your peace, and to let God remove whoever was silently blocking your blessing.